Good afternoon. I hope that you are well. In this afternoon sermon, I'd like to talk about the Bambata Rebellion, particularly to speak to our Lord Shembe, who says that from 1910, when he arrived in KwaZulu-Natal, particularly in Durban, uh, he gave people immortality by making them to be unafraid of the sea and whatever comes from the sea. But of course, now the Bambata Rebellion, according to the history that is told to us by Mntwana Pindangene Ushenge, uh, happened in 1905. Of course, we were not there in 1905, but we are told that Shenge tells us that Bambata shouldn't have fought that war because uh, every time that we fought against the Europeans, we lost. So we were losing more territory because of our defeats to the Europeans, whether be it the Dutch or be the English. So now, when Shembe only comes with immortality from 1910, so what about those people who fell in the Bambata wars against the poll tax? Uh, People might not know what the poll tax was. The poll tax basically was that you had to pay tax for just existing, even if you don't buy anything, even if you don't earn a salary, you just pay tax for existing. But now Bambata didn't like that because he saw that as a way of exploiting people, because he knew that those monies were not going to develop his place, they were going to develop the capital cities where the mining was happening. Because remember, South Africa was a very extractive economy. Because that was the purpose of colonialism at that time, to extract gold so that you can have the gold standard and control the gold and control the economy, be able to pay for the armies and be able to feed the population basically, and make sure that there is a good life in the population, and that people are productive and they have some kind of rewards to look forward to. However, we beg our Lord to forgive Bambata for his sins against our king, because if because of his anger we lost lands which we would be controlling at this moment and using, then he did something wrong against umbuso wasenguniland noma wakwaZulu, ngoba kwakufanele ukuthi alinde izwi lenkosi ukuthi lona lithini. Uma ithi inkosi cha, angaqhubeki alwe, akhokhe intela, impilo iqhubeke. The reason why I'm talking like this is because when President Ramaphosa went to America, he spoke about South Africa having a need to increase its mining production in its different categories, depending on the demands of the markets, of course. Uh, of course, remember that many of our industries have closed down because of the Chinese, even not mining industries, but even the poultry industry, the textile industry. Remember the premiership of Sihle Zikalala in KwaZulu-Natal even had to intervene to save some jobs in the poultry industry because of the imports of poultry from Brazil, because of the BRICS agreements, because the chicken from Brazil is cheaper compared to the chicken that is produced locally. But now you ask yourself, in economics, what does that mean? Because economics says that a product that is produced locally is supposed to be cheap where it is produced, because there are no transportation costs involved. You're just moving chicken from the farm to a shop nearby. But if you are moving a chicken from Brazil to South Africa, even if you are moving it in bulk, it must cost a lot, whether you're moving it by ships or by air, by the cargo plane. It's still requires a lot of planning, it requires a lot of luck, really, with the good weather and all of that. So it doesn't make sense or economically. Uh, some of the things that have happened with the BRICS agreements. And I think that's what Ramaphosa should also have talked about, to say BRICS is something that is still in progress. There are still some mistakes that we are making. Not mistakes that are natural mistakes, but mistakes that are as a result of apartheid. Because when we were colonized and we were denied a good education, the Chinese were educating themselves. Remember, now we're in the negotiation table as kids, really. In reality, because now we don't want to have a GNU which denies the reality of apartheid, that our grandfathers and our grandmothers were farm workers who were not educated. Maybe having, primary education was considered at that time, which was a lie already, because there were already people with PhDs at that time, the white people with master's degrees, with honors degrees, with many kinds of degrees. But for a black person, it was said that, if you can read and write, it's okay. Not being truthful to the black person to say you need to specialize in something and then try to make a career out of it. So those are some of the problems that we have even in BRICS. But of course, many people might not be aware of that. But Thabo Mbeki is aware of that. That maybe some countries have 100% literacy rate. Look at South Africa. Do we have 100% literacy rate today in 2005 June? So those are some of the questions that, and what kind of literacy is it really? What are people literate about? And of course, when you speak about the Bambata Rebellion. So it means that the Zondis people have an aversion towards the mine, because the government at the time wanted us to go to the mines, and now the government of Ramaphosa wants us to go to the mines, meaning that it is Bambata rebellion again, because there are people who are going to refuse to go to work in the mines and change careers when they have been trained for many years to be experts in particular field, and then they specialize. For example, can you imagine asking a lawyer to go and work in the mine as a miner, not as a legal department head or whatever, or something like that? So we need to consider that. There are people who have an aversion uh, towards the mine. They don't want to work in mines. So even if the production is 16%, they don't care, because they're in the transportation industry. Even if they make 1,000 rands a day, they know that they can feed their two kids or their friend or their brother, because there's just the two of them or three of them. They are satisfied with the minimum that they're able to get, but they also enjoy their freedom, being at home, being with people that they grew up with in a community that speaks their language, not in a cosmopolitan community, which is really cosmopolitan and you don't even know where you are. So now this brings me to the question of, now in Zululand, what does this mean? Isilo Misuzulu said we must close down clubs and pubs. But now some of the families, the Zondi families, have survived through providing alcohol by having taverns, bottle stores, and all of that, because they don't want to go and work in the mine. So they have to find alternative means of participating in the local economy. Of course, we know alcohol is destructive, but we also know that kunabafelokazi, kunabantu abashonele, kunamadoda aney'nkinga zawo ay'hloshelwe abafazi, ay'funela ukuyiphuzela nje asuke lapho, noma ayohlala nabangani babo bay'shisele inyama baziphuzele, have a good time kuyisonto, mase bayibuyelele emakhaya bayobukela ibhola, bayozilalela, bavuke ekuseni baye emsebenzini. Manje izwi lenkosi-ke alibuyi-ke lilambatha. Yingakho nami njengamanje ngikhuluma ngalo nje, kodwa manje ngiveza nokuthi kunganenxeba elivelayo kulabantu abangafuni ukusebenza emayini uma sekuvalwa ezinye zezinto okuyizona abaziphilisa ngazo, kodwa eziwulimazayo umphakathi, uma umphakathi uzixhaphaza, uyi-abuse-a. kunjalo. KunaNomkhize-ke abanama-bottle store, abaningi oMkhize baney'tolo nabo noNgcobo bayazibuza, noMajozi bayazibuza, oGcwabe bayazibuza, noNgcobo bayazibuza ukuthi manje njengoba thina sesikhethe lo mkhakha osemthethweni eSouth Africa okhontrolwa i-Liquor Board yaKwaZulu-Natal, manje yini isilo sona singakhulumi ne-Liquor Board uma kuwukuthi utshwala sebuvaliwe ezweni? Kube ukuthi i-Liquor Board esho njalo, singayiswa sithathe amalayisensi, sakhe izakhiwo, sakhe iy'ndawo ezinhle zokuphumula, kodwa la okufa khona abantu vese ngoba phela abantu basuke bey'xabanela iy'ndaba zabo esingahlangene nazo thina. Kodwa futhi mase siyababika emaphoyiseni kwesinye isikhathi ukuthi sekwenzeka isigameko esinje ngoba khona indlela u-Liquor Board esisebenza naye ngayo, uyayibona leyo ndaba. So iloko okuxaka kakhulu, angazi nami, kodwa-ke angeke ngikwazi mina ukuthi ngithathe iketanga nengidi ngiyovala isitolo somuntu ngoba kusho isilo. Kwama bangangidubulisa ila singinikezanga isibhamu, isila singinikezanga lutho, singinikeze izwi. Manje-ke nami ngiyakhuluma nje noma ngifice ugogo wakhona lapho ngibone ukuthi insizwa hlampe izongixamela ngoba baney'bhamu la bantu yabo, la bantu bagade ibhizinisi banemali la bantu njengoba usho nawe Silo ukuthi la bantu banemali, benza imali ngaleli bhizinisi. So manje uma mina ngiyakubona ngingenamali, uyayibona leyo ndaba, kushuthi bona bayikhulumela nebhoyi, uyabo, hlampe izwi lakho abalizwanga bona, hlampe balizwile hlampe abalizwanga, angibazi noma bayakulalela yini or abantu basemhlabeni la abazibukela ibhola, abay'thandela ibhola. Mhlampe-ke umbuzo nje engingashiya ungangezwe lakhe nawo ukuthi uma uthi abantu abavala amathaveni namakilabhu, yiziphi ezinye iy'ndlela zokuziphilisa ongazibala nje hlampe noma wenze noma inkulumo eqoshiwe yehora nje usitshela nje samaZulu ukuthi iyiphi enye indlela esingaphila ngayo ngaphandle kokusebenza emayini nangaphandle kokuthi sidayise utshwala okubulalayo abantu, wena Wendlovu?